Hey guys, and welcome to another C++ programming tutorial from Someone9031. And in this tutorial we're going to be discussing random numbers and how they work in C++. So random numbers are quite useful for computers. You use them for as passcodes and things like that. So random number generator is built into C++. And we can use that random number generator by calling the function rand, which returns an integer. So let's just use this, and since it returns an integer, we can print the value out. So it's just rand, takes no arguments. So basically, the rand function in C++ generates pseudo-random numbers, because there's no such thing as real random with a computer. So it generates pseudo-random numbers from 1 all the way up to a value known as rand max, which is the highest number that it can generate. So we can find out how big rand max is by doing rand underscore max. So that'll just print out rand max. It's all in uppercase. So let's run our program here. Here we see our set of numbers. We have 41, 18,467, 6,334, and our rand max on this particular computer is 32,767. So that is the highest number that can be generated on this computer by the rand function. It is different for every computer depending on what hardware operating system that you have. So it should be something around there though. Now there is a problem with this rand function, and we'll find what that is when we run this program again. Now we look at our numbers and we're like, okay, that's the exact same numbers as we got last time. These numbers look fairly random. They don't have some particular pattern, but we get the same set of numbers every time we run the program, which is not good. So before I show you how to solve this, you need to know a bit about how this rand function works. So I'll explain that right now. Basically, the random function, or the rand function, begins with a number called a key. And that key is the number it starts out with, and it takes that key and applies a certain algorithm onto that key. So this algorithm consists of many different operations, so that the resulting number can be both either greater or less than the number that was used as a seed. So you take this seed and you apply that algorithm to it, and the result is our first number. So the first random number. Now if we use rand again, now the seed is the previously generated number. So the seed that we're going to use is the first number, and you take that first number, use that as a seed, apply the algorithm, and you get the second number. And for the third number, you use the second number as a seed. So that's the way it works. Now the problem is, every time we run the program, we get the same seed for the first number, which means that the set of random numbers that we generate, no matter how large, will always be exactly the same every time we run the program. So the way to combat this is to get a different seed every time. And the way to set the seed for a rand function is to use so we use the function srand. So that sets the seed, and it takes an unsigned integer, which means that it can only be positive. So we have to convert that to unsigned, and we can enter any number we want in here. We could start out with a seed of 1. Remember semicolons, rand. So let's just type this out again. Probably shouldn't have gotten rid of it. There we go. Start our program. What we get is this set of numbers, which shows that the seed that the program always starts with is 1. Now if we change this to 2, I just wait for it to build, it's taking a long time. We get a different set of numbers. But every time we run this program, we still get the same set of numbers because this seed is not changing between times. So we need to make it so that the value, basically the value of the seed between times that we run the program will be completely different. And the way we can do that, so the most popular way, is to use the current time. So that's why we've imported this seed time header file. So we use the time function from that file. So it's just time, and in here we're supposed to take a time t pointer, but this can also be null, which means that it simply just returns a time t object, time t value. So there we are. Now run our program again. Here we get this set of numbers. Run again. And it's a different set of numbers. They're all quite similar numbers because we're running these sort of within not very long of each other. But you can see that every time we run, we do get a different set of numbers because the seed for the first number is changing between every single time because the time is changing, obviously. So there we are. Now you might have noticed that a lot of the numbers that are generated by this are like these massive numbers, and most of the time you don't need numbers this large. You want something like, say you wanted a number between 1 and 100. So how do we make, like, you can see that the numbers they generate are usually in the 10,000s or 20,000s, something like that. So how do we force this value down? Now, there isn't a direct way to do it, but there is a way, and that way is to take the mod of this number. So, well, let's say we wanted a random number between 1 and 100 inclusive. So that means we'll take rand, and let's mod by 100, which means it takes the remainder of whichever random number it is and divides that by 100 and takes the remainder of that. So, and then plus 1. Now if we run this, we should see that our first number is 4. Basically what this is doing is it's taking that big number. So say, let's run this again just to show you. Okay, say the number was 5,172. Now it does a trial division by 100 and takes the remainder, which will always be smaller than 100, because if it's larger than 100, that means it can divide into 100 one more time, or 2 more times, or just more times. So the largest number we can have right now is 100. So basically we mod by 100, which basically 5,172 mod by 100 is 72. And then we add 1 because if it divides perfectly we will get a 0. But we only want a 1 to 100, so we add 1. So the value we would have gotten for this would be 72. And for this it would have been 48. It just divides by 100. And you can do any number you want for this limit. So basically the way you do this is you take the rand, you mod by the upper limit, and then you add 1. So that is the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys have learned something from this. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to leave them below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, please rate and subscribe. Thanks for watching.